G'day, this is Mr. Thompson, and in this video I'll show you how to create a dimensioned drawing like this, which has all of the inspection dimensions, that is the dimensions that work out, that determine whether or not you are legally allowed to race your car if you were to go to a competition. You can see it's got all of those labelled. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do, actually I'll just close this because we'll start a new one. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to preferences and change a few things. So you click on your preferences icon up the top here, go to preferences, and we're going to use ISO standards. Now, we already do use ISO standards because we use them in our design, but we need to change that so that we've got access to some other information down here. So we need to click on this button here that says override or restore format defaults below, and this is the one we need to change. In Europe, I'm told, they tend to use first angle projection. Here in Australia, we tend to use ISO standards and third angle projection. And that refers to the way we lay out a drawing. So there's probably a whole nother video on first and third angle projection, but we're just going to set that to third angle projection. All right, I'm going to apply that and OK. And now we're good to go. Let's open up our data panel there with the 9 dots. Let's find our Dragster assembly, the one that we just built. Now, I don't need to open it. All I need to do is right click, and I'm going to do a new drawing from design. New drawing from design. And look, you can do some automatic stuff. We're going to do it manually. So click on manual. And this all looks good here from scratch. ISO, millimeters, A3, that's all good. And we're going to click OK. And it will create a drawing template for us. Now, it's already got, you can see where my mouse is. It's got a little, I guess that's is that a front view or a rear view? Anyway, it's not the view I want. I think that's a rear view. Up here it says front, actually. So let's go, I think I want a right view. That's better. A right view of my car, and it's a bit small, so I'm going to change the scale. I'm going to change it to maybe 1:2, and I think that'll fit. If I try to make 1:1, I won't fit all the views that I need. So 1:2, I want to go as big as I can without making my drawing too crowded. So I'm going to place my base view there by clicking there. And now I'm going to come up here and do some projected views. So I'm going to click on projected views, click on my base view again and project upwards. So I'll click up here somewhere, and then I'll come and click here somewhere, and I'll come and click over here somewhere. Now this is, okay, so let's just do that. And click on the little green arrow there to create and continue those views. Okay, now, you know what I've noticed already? I don't have any hidden lines in there, and I'd really like them. So I'm going to come back down to my base view and double click on it. And I'm going to go, I'd like visible and hidden edges. That's better, so I can see what's inside it. For those ones, let's go close. But for this one here, I want this one to be more of a pictorial view. So let's just choose that one there, I think, for that one. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now, I can move these around anytime I want. So if I decide I need a little bit more room over this here, I can move them if I want to do just by hovering until I get that frame and then moving like that. All right. So let's start to dimension. So this button up here, or D on your keyboard for dimension. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, you may have seen this. Oh, where did that go? Here we go. So these are our specification sheet. This is the specification sheet for the Dragsters, and this shows the maximum and minimum values for a whole bunch of measurements. And can you see each measurement has a letter, A, B, C, D, E. We're going to put those letters on our drawing so that we can use the drawing as an inspection drawing, so we can demonstrate on the drawing where each of those measurements are. So I'm just going to put that on my other screen, which you can't see, but I'm going to refer to that as we go. Okay, so let's do, well, the first dimension there on that sheet that I just showed you is the dragster body length. So I guess, now when you're doing dimensions, you only do dimensions on one view. So if I did the length on this view here, I wouldn't also do the length on this one here. I think length probably, I'm going to put it on this one here. So you just choose the one that you think that makes the most sense. So D for dimension, or click on the dimension button, and I'm going to come, let's see, I want to go from the back there, click there. Now it's put a dimension in there already. That's okay. I'm going to ignore that. I'm just going to come over here. When I click on the second point that I want to measure to, it'll go, oh, you didn't want that dimension, you wanted this new one. So that's what we want. Okay, so let's just zoom out a little bit. I'm going to put it down there because I want to put the wheelbase dimension there. So I'm going to leave a little bit of room like that. Okay, now I want to turn that into I want to put the letter A, an inspection letter on there. So if I press escape so that I'm no longer creating dimensions, double click on it, and then this dialog box comes up. I'm going to click on inspection, and I'm going to give it a label A. Okay, and then close, and can you see now that it's put A 225. So when I look at my sheet over here, my spec sheet, see A is dragster body length. There's the dragster body length. It has to be between 200 and 305 millimeters, and mine is 225. So I would, if I was filling out my spec sheet, I could actually write 225 in there because, well, assuming that I build it according to my design, then I know that design at least is compliant. All right. I'll just move that back off screen again, and let's move a little bit more quickly now. So B is the dragster body height at rear with wheels. So I guess from there to the bottom of the wheels. Actually, you know what? It's going to be easier to do that on this view over here, isn't it? So if I come over here, D for dimension. Oh, D for dimension. No, it's not letting me do that. Hang on a second. Let me escape a few times. What if I do that? That's better. Okay, so from that point there, from that line there to the bottom of the wheels, there, I might zoom in with my wheel mouse every now and then to help me. Where will I put it? I'll put it over here or over here. I think I'll put it over here. Okay, and there, good. Escape, and that is inspection number B. All right. If you get the hang of this, you might want to just, that's all I'm going to show you. Oh, and actually, no, there are a few other things I need to show you. Let me show you, sometimes we want to have center lines in our wheels, because if I want to measure from that center to that center, so for example, that's the wheelbase, I'd really like to have some center lines. So I can do that by coming up here and clicking center mark. And if I click on that outside circle there, can you see how that's created a center mark? And I can use that for my dimensioning. Same over here. The other, I might put a center mark there as well. So typically any circles that you do, you might want to do a center mark on. And the best way to do that is to, if you've got a number of concentric circles like here, you put the center mark on your biggest circle. Now, the other top place we might want to use center marks is down the center of axles. So we can use this tool here. And I found if I click on up here and then here, so I clicked on those two lines, it's put a center mark down the middle. So again, so I didn't, I found if I click here and here, it doesn't create a line all the way through. So let me just Control Z. Oop, Control Z, there we go. So I found if I click up here, it creates the center line that I want. All right, maybe put a center mark between here and here because that's that circular hole. So anywhere we've got an important circle, or and then we might want to put a center mark or a center line through it to help us with our dimensioning. Maybe between there and there, that would be a good spot. And I think that'll probably do. There are some other circles and radiuses, but we don't need that level of detail. So I think what we've got there is pretty good. All right, I'm going to escape because I don't need to do any more centre marks. Let's continue on. So again, you might, now keep watching. There are a few tricks that I need to show you that are a little bit tricky. So actually, you know what? I'll do this video in fast motion and I'll stop whenever I think there's something that's really important that I need to explain. Okay, so I'll just keep going and I'll speed this section of the video up. Okay, this is one I think you might need a bit of an explanation for. So G, let me bring this across. So G here says bottom of axle hole above bottom of dragster. So let me show you why this is a bit difficult. Let me move that away. So bottom of dragster hole above bottom of dragster. So that means, let me zoom in. I think this view is the easiest one to see that on. So this means between there's that's the bottom of the axle. That inner circle there is the axle, and that's the bottom of the dragster. The problem is if I press D for dimension, it tries to dimension, if I click on the circle there, it tries to dimension from the center of the circle, which is no good for us. It's not what we want. So let me just delete that. So what I can do instead, D, when I'm clicking on that circle, I can right click on the circle, and if I come down and choose curve XY min max, what that means, it's going to allow me to choose the edge of the circle, either the very top or the very bottom or the very left or the very right of the circle. So if I click there, now I can choose that point there, and now I can choose that bottom line there, and you can see now it lets me, if I zoom out, that measurement there is 6. All right, so actually, let me just show you one thing quickly. That is also useful. If I decide I want to move my dimension, if I just press escape, so I'm not doing dimension anymore, then if I click on my dimension, I can move the dimension. So I can do all sorts of movement like that, which is pretty handy if I decide, if I decided I wanted this one a bit further higher up or lower down, I could do that. Or this one here, this is sometimes useful if I decided I want that measurement on that side rather than on the bottom, I can do that. All right, we'll keep going. Right, here's another tricky one. This one is, let's see, power plant, lowest point of chamber diameter to race surface with wheels. So this one, I've got to go from the bottom of that hole to the wheels there. So I'm going to use that same trick I did before. D for dimension, right click on the circle and curve XY min max. Now it'll allow me to click that point there, and then I need to click the bottom of the wheel, and that gives me that distance there. So again, escape, double click, inspection, and that was inspection number, what was that? Here we go. That was O. That was O. All right, we'll keep going. Okay, and there we're pretty much done. The last thing I'm doing is just having a look at and seeing if there's anything there that looks a bit cluttered that I might just be able to tidy up a little bit. I think that's pretty reasonable. Maybe I can move that down a little bit so that I can put that in line with the other one there, like that. So I think that looks, oh, you know what, and maybe put these on the same angle so they look a little bit more professional. There we go. That's pretty good. All right, so there's our dimension drawing, and that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it.